Hello there everyone. Today I want to show you how to make this colour block wire weave, and this is what it looks like. So you get this really nice effect of using the two different colours of wire. You get this colour blocking effect going along, and both sides are exactly the same, so it's nice and simple to work with. So if you want to learn how to make this weave, then keep watching. So then what I'm going to be using is 2 lengths of my 1mm wire here, and these are going to be my base wires. And then we also need 2 lengths of our weaving wire. Now what I'm going to be working with is 2 different colours, because this weave really looks nice that way, but also just to show you the difference and how it then works together. So I've got 2 lengths of my 0.4mm wire, and I'm just using one in copper and then one in silver here. So then the first thing I'm going to do is grab one of my base wires and then also one of my lengths of 0.4mm wire here, so the wrapping wire. And first off I just want to attach this, so I'll put the end of my 0.4mm wire behind my base wire. Then just leave a little tail so I can hold on to that. Then the first thing I want to do is just wrap my weaving wire around my base wire here. So basically just coiling it around and making sure that your wraps that you're doing are going to be nice and tight together. How many times you want to wrap it is really up to you, because what I'm going to do is also go straight into the weave. I'm just going to push these together with my pliers. You want to make sure that every time you're doing your wraps here, so throughout, they're going to be really nice and tight together. That's going to help obviously make the weave just work, but also make it look nice and neat. So I'm going to wrap here. I'm just going to see how many I've done. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 I think. Just press them together again. So you want to do however many wraps you want to. I think I want to do 5. So like that. And that's obviously just what I'm choosing to do to show you how it can look, but you can really adjust how many you want to do. So this is one of them. And I'm going to just put this aside for now. And then I'm going to grab my other base wire and also my other weaving wire here. And this is then in my case a silver coloured weaving wire. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. So put my weaving wire at the end of that behind my base wire. Just grab hold of that little tail and then just wrap this around. So coil it around the base wire the same amount of times that we did the other one. So 2, 3, 4 and 5. Like I said, you can do however many wraps you want to. I'm just doing 5 in this case. Make sure they're squeezed nice and tight together. So there we go. This is now both of them ready. So now what we need to do is then actually bring the 2 together as well and start making the actual weave. So as you can see here, I've got them both ready, and both of my wraps, so how I put my weaving wire around my base wire, they're both going in the same direction, and that's what you want to make sure of. So I'm just going to basically put these close together, so lie them right next to each other, but you want to make sure that the wrapped sections there are lying right next to each other, so not kind of like this off from each other, but you want them lying next to each other, because you need to make sure that because of spacing. So then what we need to do is continue with the weave and the wrapping. Now in my case I've just put my copper one there on the top, so that's coming out towards the back and then down behind, and then my silver one is coming from behind and out towards the bottom there. So what I'm just going to do first is take the bottom one, the silver one there, making sure that the wraps are lying next to each other. Keep hold of that for now. And then I want to bring this across the top of both of them, like that. And this is why you need to make sure that the wrapped sections, the coiled section there, are lying next to each other, because that's going to help with the spacing so we don't pull this too tight. Then the copper one, I'm just going to kind of leave it hanging there for now. The copper one that's coming from the top then behind, I need to bring that down behind both of them and then up around the bottom. And that's basically now in position. The 2 wires have now actually swapped places around the base wires. So what I'm just going to do is continue with one of them first. Doesn't really matter which one you start with. I'm just going to do one with my copper. So I'm actually going to wrap around the bottom one on its own with the copper one now, the one that came from the opposite one. And I can just do one wrap to start with. I prefer to do that just to get them both kind of going with the next wrap here. Then I'm going to take the silver one in my case, that's now coming on around the top base wire and out towards the back. and I'm going to wrap around that top base wire on its own. So that means I'm coming up between the two base wires and then wrapping around that once, so one full time. Now this is where you then need to make sure that it's working out correctly, because the wraps that you're doing now on each base wire, they still need to lie next to each other. So this is what I meant when I said that we need to make sure the two wrap sections down, the first ones you did, are lying next to each other, or rather on top of each other there, because you need to have enough spacing to fit two wraps, one around each base wire, in between those two base wires there, and be able to get your wire in. So that's how you make sure of that, because obviously if you're getting too tight together, you won't be able to fit two separate weaving wires in between lying next to each other. They're going to want to kind of lie off from each other because you can't fit them in. So I'm just going to continue doing my wrapping here. I've done one around each base wire now with the separate wires. So you just continue with one of them, doing the same amount of wraps. So I'm just going to continue with the top one, the silver one in my case. I've already done one on both, so I'm just going to keep doing on the same one up to the amount that I want. So that's 5 in total. I've done another one, so that's 2. Come up between the two base wires, wrap around again, that's 3. Once more and all the way around, that's 4. And then again, and that makes the 5th one. And again, just let it hang out towards the back there, because then we need to obviously get ready as well for it to come around for the next section. And I'm just going to push them nice and tight. So that's the one side. We now need to do the same with the bottom one, that's in my case the copper one there. I've already done the one wrap, the very first one. So I'm going to wrap around the bottom base wire continuously where it came from. Go down between the two base wires. So that's twice. 3, 4, and 5. So there we go. So I've now wrapped an equal amount here on both sides, and the bottom base wire, so the copper one, is coming out towards the back, in between the two base wires, and then down towards the bottom there. So now we basically need to swap places again. We've gotten to that point that we just showed you there. So we need to swap places with the wires. This is where using the two different colours really helps as well, but it also makes the weave stand out really. So that means I'm going to take the top one that's coming from the top and down behind the two base wires, and just bring it across the back of them. Just let it hang there for now. And then the bottom one, that's a copper one, I need to bring it from below around the top of the two base wires, and then out towards the back to get them to swap places. And then same principle, I want to just do a single wrap around each of these base wires with each of the wrapping wires, just to kind of get them settled in place. It's a little bit easier to work with. So you can start with whichever one you want to. I'm just going to take my copper one, the top one, do one full wrap around that base wire. So that's where I come up in between the two base wires. And then I'm also just going to do one around the bottom with the silver one. So I'll go down between the two base wires and push that all the way down. And every time you do this, especially when you swap over, you want to make sure that your two wrapping wires there and the two wraps, one on each side, that you just do a line right next to each other. So there we go. I've now done each on both sides. So now you just continue. So that means I need to do 5 in total on each side. So that is 2, 3, 4, and then the last one, that's 5. And again, just leave that coming up towards the back. Make sure they're nice and tight. And the bottom one, I've already done one, so I need to do the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and then the 5th one. So we again have equal amount of wraps on both sides. And that's basically the next one. So now we're in the position to swap place again, and you just keep going and doing the same thing. You bring the top one behind both of them, coming down towards the bottom, and the bottom one goes across the top of both of them and out towards the top. And there, the swap places, and you're ready to start again. And that's basically all there is to it. So you get this really nice effect of swapping around with the colours. So basically this kind of little bit of colour blocking effect. So I'm just going to keep going here and show you then what it can look like. So this is then what the weave looks like here. So you can see this really colour block effect that you get. And both sides are the same, so that's brilliant. You don't have a front and a back. So that's what it looks like. It's a pretty simple weave to do. And especially it looks nice using the two different colours of wire here. It gives you that nice effect. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And thank you very much for watching. Hello everyone. Today I want to show you how to make this alternating picots wire weave. And this is what mine looks like. So this is the effect that you can get. So we have 3 base wires, where as you can see the middle one is wrapped all the time, and then the outer ones are just wrapped every now and then, alternating from side to side, so we can achieve this effect. And both sides of this weave are exactly the same, so that's a bonus as well. So there's no front and back really. So if you want to learn how to make this weave, then stay